Welcome to Heal the World Show podcast, brought to you by the Healing Institute. I'm Pramelia Parham, and I'm the founder and the CEO of the Healing Institute. The Healing Institute is a hub, an online, a worldwide virtual hub of holistic practitioners, and we are out to heal the world. So we are here to give people hope. We want to give people alternative ways of being well and staying well on their health journey. And I am just passionate about educating people about those ways and how we can do that. And that was one of the main reasons I called the Healing Institute an institute. So I'm very passionate about creating a proactive wellness society. We definitely want that. And I have actually used holistic ways of being well for over 20 years myself. So I know that it works. So you might wonder why this is important to me. And I will let you know it's because we did have a tragedy in our family a few years ago when my mom passed away at age 61. And it was due to her being on a medication for a very long time. And not once did the side effects were ever discussed with her of being on that medication for a long time, that it would compromise her kidneys. So unfortunately, we lost her December 15th, right before Christmas. I was 5 months pregnant with my son. And it just happened very, very quickly and very fast. And I don't want that happening to anybody else. So not only was it a tragedy that she died so young, but my children didn't get to meet their grandmother. And I just don't want that happening for any other families. So we are having a wonderful guest today on Heal the World show. Each week we have a guest who talks about what they are an expert in. And August, actually, we have a theme every month. And August, I've decided, is Awesome August. So today is our very first podcast for August. And I'm just so delighted to have Rita Kwan with us today. We're going to talk about healing and light and a whole bunch of other things. Now, Rita actually, she likes to go by Ta, so we affectionately know her as Ta. And she is a certified coach. She is an author. She's a speaker. And I live on Vancouver Island, as a lot of you know, and we're having Rita come next week here to Vancouver Island and do some presentations. So we're so excited. So Rita, welcome. So lovely to have you here. Tell us a little bit about you and maybe a little bit of your story.
Well, thank you, Pramelia. It's such an honor to be here. I feel like a 5-year-old inside. I'm so excited, jumping up and down, and so looking forward to being there in your beautiful paradise. It's really a wonderful thing to be able to look forward to meeting you and all the really lovely people that live there. Your story really touched me because I think that at the heart of many of us, that's what drives us is an
Mm-hmm.
experience that we've had or many experiences. In my life, I was so surrounded with people having experiences like that and crossing over and feeling helpless,
Mm-hmm.
only to stand by and be able to watch and love them. And there just seemed to be nothing around. So at an early age, I was lucky enough to have a grandmother who loved plants. She loved herbs. And she always taught us about them and how to work with the ground and work with the herbs. For we never knew, really having to go anywhere in our small circle that in our family. But everybody outside the immediate family would run to their doctors, and she would just shake her head. So at an early age, I fell in love with herbs and plants and kind of followed it throughout my life. And then before I knew what coaching was, I just started integrating it. I was fortunate enough to meet a physician who launched the first electronic medical records company.
Mm.
He was a
Mhm.
lovely man, quite brilliant, very focused on electronic medical records, thought it was really going to revolutionize and make so easy everything. And what we know is technology is not always that level, the answer. But I got to work with him and we were able to build a national company. And I integrated what I called curious questions.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
straight consulting and working with the big six consulting people and giant hospital systems didn't work.
No. Yeah.
So asking curious questions. And I was so happy that the coactive coaching people came out with a book. And someone brought me the book. They said, "This is what you're doing." And I thought, oh, great. It has a name. It's called coaching.
I
But
love that. I love that. It's so really important to be curious. That's definitely one of my gifts. I often say, what we got in trouble for as a child is now our gift. And so I was always getting into trouble for asking too many questions and being too sensitive, which of course now that helps with the work that I do. But curiosity, I think, is like number one. It's key to being curious and asking questions for sure.
I
So
agree. Yeah, they didn't like all the questions I asked when I was a child, but
no, my parents didn't either. I don't think they could answer some of them. So they were like, "You ask too many questions."
yeah,
I
well,
want to
that's
know
the way.
things. I want to know things. Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
and at an early age, we learned that the plants don't grow without light.
Exactly. As do we not grow without light. And I just love this topic today because it's not only the light from outside of us, it's also the light that we have in us that helps us be well and stay well. So it's so important for us to have that inner light, whatever that means for you, and to be able to let it shine for yourself as well as for other people.
And I love sharing with people, which we have a chance to do when I come there, that the light of self-love
Yes.
that is free and available all the time. There's so many things that are free and available all the time. I want to say to people, jump in, really jump in to that spark that is you, that essence of self-love before they figure out a way to put a price on it
Yes.
to tax
Exactly.
us for it, right? Because it waits. I often have this picture. I see things in animated form a lot of times. And I have a picture in my mind of this beautiful dragon, having this treasure chest of gems, that the dragon keeps hidden in a
Mhm.
cave, right? And it's all these beautiful rubies and diamonds and emerald, gems. And that's like the spark of self-love within us, is that it waits for us. That treasure chest of gems wait, and more you access self-love, it's like a muscle that
Mhm.
you want to strengthen over time. Because how many people were taught, love yourself? Well, in
Well,
fact,
not many. Not enough for sure, because that was being selfish and self-centered. If we were, I mean, that's how I was raised, always to be polite, never to be, selfish, and heaven forbid to be self-centered. But we now know that if we don't practice our own self-love, we don't fill up our own bucket. So then we're not filling up our love quotient in order to be able to spread it around and share it with other people. I just want to say a quick hello and thank you for joining us. We've got some lovely people who've stopped in today. So Jody Bernberg, glad to be here. Thanks, Jody, all the way from Texas. And Michael Edward Bradford, he said he's glad to be here. So happy to have you here, Michael. Michael's from Virginia Beach, Virginia, and Barb is here. Barb Ashcroft, who is helping and promoting and putting on the event for you, Ta, when you come here next week. And she says happy to be here as well. So oftentimes we don't always see everybody that's come on and in the chat, but we will go back into the event after and we will recognize everybody. And we have a way for you to get in touch with Ta. So we'll definitely be posting that as well. So thank you everybody for joining us. Those are all the ones I've got in the chat that have said that they're here, and we're happy to have them here. If you have any questions, just ask away. That helps us with our conversation as well.
It's so lovely to be able to connect with people all over. It's really fun. Very, very, very fun. I think people have much more of a sense of connection.
Oh, I agree. Yes, most definitely. And, with the Healing Institute, we are actually, we have 7 countries now, 10 practitioners in 7 countries. So we, my vision, of course, is to make that much bigger, 12 plus countries, over 200 practitioners. But we really want to make an impact on the world and on healing and health and how that can be different for people, and take them on that journey to better health, which is, of course, all that we're learning around how light helps us do that. In fact, helps us do that.
Really.
Yeah.
Well, and the light that is within, the more you work with that, the more you allow yourself the stillness and the time. It doesn't have to start with a lot of time. Whatever time you can allot every day, if you can do it the same time every day, that's powerful. There's millions of different ways you can integrate the stillness and the breath and the connection with yourself. I often imagine, the mind, to quiet the mind. The mind kind of walks out on this diving board and jumps into this pool of heart and swims around in the heart, and then flips over on its back and kind of floats there and is still, still the mind, quiet the mind, and allow it to just, let it be if it's still going and going. But that practice, that simple practice, can connect you more deeply to your heart. And that brings insights.
Absolutely.
Ideas, don't you think?
Oh, I do. I agree with you 100%. I say we're human beings, not human doings. And we do too much. We're too busy doing and not being. So I love that picture that you just painted about just being. So we have one more person who's popped on. Barry Tate says, great conversation so far, ladies. Does the Healing Institute have a presence in the Caribbean? Not yet, Barry. We need to talk later for sure. Yes.
Well, that would be great. Barry would be a great person. Barry is an extraordinary person and very heart connected. Hi, Barry. Great to know you're here. Well, and the great thing is when that connection happens inside, it attracts more light and love to you on the outside, and almost feels like you have now a guide and helps guide. I know in the darkest times of my life, when my husband became ill so suddenly and he was spiraling down so fast that you just wanted to stop the world, which I did. I unplugged from everything for about 3 years and searched the world for someone who could help him. I only wish I knew then what I know now. Yes. Isn't that the case so many times? That's why we're sharing this with people and inviting people. We can't be the gatekeepers of what you learn. You share it with people and let them choose. But it was that going inside that kept me from feeling like I was going to lose my mind.
So important. So important, Ha. 20 odd years ago, I was in a very dark place as well, not in a good relationship, didn't have my joy. But I knew intuitively I had to seek inside first.
Mhm.
And as we all know, this happens when you're ready, the teacher will show up. And that was when my energy teacher that I studied under for 8 years came into my life, a women's networking luncheon that she had never gone to before. It was the first time I'd ever gone to that luncheon. She didn't like networking, but we got to meet, and it was wonderful for us to be able to connect, and then for me to study with her. And she kind of taught me the language that I didn't have the language around energy and healing and vibration and intuition. I knew it in a way, but I didn't have the language. So that it was a wonderful experience to work with her and study with her for all those years, to then be able to explain how things are. So yeah, it's beautiful when that happens, for sure.
You become guided, and knowing too that everything we are, right, light and energy, is projected, right? So,
Mhm.
in many directions, for actually further than I think most people think that it
Well, our
is.
electromagnetic field, which is our aura, has been measured in like feet, that goes out from us. And a few years ago, I learned about a vibratory grid that we have throughout the whole world. And I'm like, well, now that makes perfect sense to me, because when you meet somebody, you think, I think I've met them before, but you know that you haven't. But it's because we are connected. We're all connected. It's so important. And that sort of essence that you're talking about, that vibration that we give out from ourselves when we feel it, when we are in joy and when we are in service, is, if people catch it, they know that they can feel that.
And that's part of the light that comes from us.
Exactly.
We emit energy and light, and we're we're like bouncing off of each other continually. And I encourage people to come from a space that is calmer, right? Let nothing rush you out of your space of being connected with your heart. And that again is it's practice. It's like, well, how do you do that? You practice. You
That's why
practice
I
it.
say it's called a practice for a reason, because you
That's
do
in practice
practice
for a
it.
reason. Yes, that's right. You catch yourself and then you, oh, okay. And the great thing is you share that with other people.
Mhm.
As you share who you are and your light and all of that, your energy, then you can ask. Ask is a beautiful word, and it opens the door to the light many, many times. So I can ask Permelia, I can ask Barb, I can ask people that I'm around, is if you feel that somewhere I'm out of I'm kind of mistunement is happening, tell me, just like you would tell me if my shoelaces were untied.
Mhm.
Oh,
Mhm.
you might wanna know your shoelaces are untied, right? So you don't trip and fall. Oh, you might wanna know there's some mistunement happening in your I'm feeling some mistunement happening in your energy. We get comfortable enough and it's like, "Oh, yeah, I was thinking about my son and, a conversation we have. I wasn't here. I wasn't present."
And that
And
is so important. So important for us to practice being present with each other and really listening to what the other person is saying, not thinking about what your response is going to be. I can always know when I'm talking to someone and their eyes are kind of not quite focused, that, okay, they're not really listening to me. They're just thinking about how they're going to respond to what I'm saying. And that is a skill. it is something we need to practice to do so that we are really hearing people and they know that we're really hearing them. And again, that's all part of our light and our love that we want to share with people. So, yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I'm excited about coming, because it's kind of a unplugged talk that I'm planning to do on the 12th with Barb in partnership, and bring in some bits about self-love, bring in some bits about self-care, and let people reflect on it. I'm coming with, I have a little self-assessment. It's very easy and fun and doesn't take going into the mind.
Right.
It's just kind of a yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. People can check it off. But gives them a chance to kind of become still, check in, and really see what pops up automatically when they ask, are you satisfied with the time you're making for hydration, say? Are
Mm-hmm.
we drinking enough water? Are we moving the body every day? Getting out and moving the body. Is that happening? Because when you love yourself, as much as say you love, the person the most in the world, or the animal or the thing, whatever it is that you love most in the world, when you feel that, who do I love most in the world? And you feel it, feel it, feel it. It's like, okay, how about you? How about that
Mm-hmm.
feeling for you? Then you want to move your body. You want to have fun. You want to drink the water. You want to do these things. So it's kind of nice to kind of take stock. It's almost like look at your calendar and see, am I on my own calendar? Am I making time, for myself?
Yes, and I love that point that you made about taking stock. Oftentimes we're doing. We've got that darn to-do list, and we think that we have to check it off every day and make sure that it's done. And so we need to check in with ourselves every now and again and make that checklist for us, for have that little conversation, have that little meeting with yourself about what exactly is going on with you and what do you need to replenish, who do you need to really reach out to help you with that replenishing.
Mhm.
um, yeah, it's beautiful, I love it.
It's fun. It's fun, and it's something you can do at least every month. Hmm, what did I like about last month? What would I like to do more for myself next month? And the plan, you can kind of go in a stepwise manner
Mhm.
and every month, so it doesn't feel overwhelming.
Yes,
You
right.
don't have to go from 0 to, working out 2 hours a day, right? You don't have to, it doesn't have to
You
be.
can take those baby steps to get there.
That's right. That's right. And that's the same way I think people get called in to the light, and the light that is available now, both from our inner selves and the technologies that we're going to be speaking about on the 12th, that are breakthrough, are available to everyone. It's
Yes.
not out of reach, and it's something easy that people can do every single day. And I do believe people really deserve to understand that we're living in a different time.
Hmm.
And I
Yes.
know that you've seen tremendous progression towards this time.
Yes. I mean, just even thinking over the last 20 years, even over the last maybe 4 or 5 years, be, before the pandemic happened, I saw all my clients in person. Um, and then now I know Zoom. And now I know LinkedIn Lives. So the technology has just grown exponentially. And we can use it to our advantage.
Hmm.
and the technology, around healing is so wonderful and amazing. And I just want to mention for people who are on Vancouver Island, we're having this event on August the 12th. It's a Monday, but we're having two presentations, one at 2 in the afternoon and one at 7 in the evening. And so I will post the invitation on my LinkedIn, and there is a QR code that we'd like you to use to register. So you are invited. Please come to Qualicum Beach on August the 12th and meet Ta and get to know a little bit more about her and our topic, which is really, really unlocking the secrets to vibrant health is the title of her talk. Wow, I can't believe the half hour is just about finished. This was just wonderful and delightful. So we do want people to know that please share this LinkedIn Live, this conversation with your community. Let people know that we have these amazing practitioners on the Healing Institute that are available for you to uh, be well and stay well on your health journey. They're available to support you to do that. We have a vision of having expert health practitioners, and they streamline what you need for you. So it's not a one size fits all. It's not a cookie cutter. They discover in the complimentary session that you can have with them, they discover what you need, and then they design whatever it is that you need. And that's, I believe, how we're changing the medical model, going from just looking at a symptom to actually really finding out what the root cause is of whatever the issue is that you might have with your health. Our motto at the Healing Institute is service with love. And I truly believe that from my heart, that is how we serve. So we have a big ask to heal the world. And each week when I have a guest co-host, like I had Ta on today, you get to meet them. You get to meet these amazing, amazing people. And you got to meet another one today, Rita Kwan. Thanks so much, Rita.
Thank you, Parmelia. It's so wonderful to be able to be here with you. I'm very excited to meet you in person.